All right, get ready for a scientific showdown you probably never saw coming. In one corner, we have your trusty morning mouthwash, and in the other, garlic. Yeah, you heard me right, garlic. It sounds wild, but a brand new study suggests the winner here is going to seriously surprise you.
I mean, just think about it for a second. That minty, fresh liquid you swish around every single day. What if its biggest competitor has just been sitting there in your kitchen cabinet this whole time? That's the exact question this new research is making us all ask. So let's talk about this challenger stepping into the ring. It's garlic. And no, we're not talking about warding off vampires here. We're talking about fighting the actual bad guys in your mouth, bacteria. Now, what's so fascinating here is that this isn't some folk remedy or an old wives' tale. We're talking about a formal scientific study putting this everyday kitchen staple under the microscope and suggesting it might be powerful enough to take on the biggest names on the market. So how did they actually figure this out? This wasn't just a casual observation, It was a super rigorous experiment, and they had a very specific and very common enemy in their sights. Okay, so here are the details. The research comes from Sharjah University over in the UAE, and it was published in a totally legit scientific journal, the Journal of Herbal Medicine. The scientists were targeting one specific bacteria called mutant streptococci. This little critter is basically public enemy number one when it comes to tooth decay. The goal was simple: destroy it. But this is where the story gets really, really interesting. The results weren't black and white at first. It all came down to a tiny, very specific change in the recipe, a critical threshold that changed the entire outcome. So in the first round of tests, the researchers tried a 2.5% garlic solution. And the result? Well, it was kind of a letdown. The standard chemical mouthwash was just better, more effective. At this point, it really looked like garlic was down for the count. But then they just nudged the concentration up a tiny bit, from 2.5% to 3%. That little 0.5% difference, it turned out to be the absolute game changer. The second that garlic solution hit that 3% mark, it didn't just compete. It actually blew past the effectiveness of the strongest chemical products out there. All of a sudden, this humble kitchen ingredient wasn't just in the running. It was the new champion. Unbelievable. So what is it about garlic that makes it so ridiculously powerful? Well, this isn't exactly a new revelation. It turns out modern science is really just catching up to what people have known for thousands of years. For literally millennia, ancient civilizations knew that garlic was something special. We're talking about the Egyptians, the Romans, the Chinese. They all used it not just to flavor food, but as a fundamental part of their medicine. They saw its powerful health benefits way before we had the labs to prove why. And the why has a name: Allicin. This is the secret weapon inside garlic. It's a powerful compound that only gets released when you crush or chop a clove. It's what gives garlic that famous pungent smell, and it's also a powerhouse antibacterial agent that just stops bacteria from growing in their tracks.
Now hold on. Before you run to the kitchen and start mashing up garlic to make your own mouthwash, let's be real here. The study was also very upfront about the downsides because, let's face it, there's always a catch, right? The participants in the study were pretty blunt about the whole experience. They reported a really sharp, intense taste, the classic lingering garlic breath that we all know, and even a slight burning sensation in their mouths. So yeah, while it might be super effective, it is definitely not a pleasant, minty fresh experience. So what's the big takeaway from all of this? I think this quote from the research team sums it up perfectly. The study really opens the door to the idea that natural ingredients aren't just some quaint alternative, but could be powerful, serious rivals to the chemical solutions we create in a lab. And that really just leaves us with a final massive thought to chew on. This whole thing is about way more than just garlic and mouthwash. It's about a bigger question. As we learn more about the world around us, are we about to enter an era where nature's own solutions consistently outperform anything we can cook up in a lab? It's pretty amazing to think about.